Hi, and thank you for joining me on call number 66. This is the Sunday call, the 2nd of July, 2023, 4th of July weekend. It is 103 degrees inside of the RV. The main air conditioner is stalled because the power in the park is too low, so it doesn't compress. So we're running off of one rolling air conditioner in the other room, and so I'm going to sweat it out here for the 4th of July holiday. My name is DJ Chris. I'm in Lodi, California. It is 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I appreciate you being on the call. We are a work group that's not left or right wing. We're apolitical, and we don't spew violence or talk about anything that's detrimental to people's health or what have you. We only talk about healthy things, things that can help you. And again, it's the Sunday call. Today, we're going to talk about why, what, and who is targeting us. A lot of people want to know why they're being targeted. That's the main question people ask all the time. And why am I being targeted? And no one knows the answer to that. No one can really tell because you've been put on a secret watch list or some type of situation where you're being attacked, and you, of course, don't know why or what you did, because that's how the system works. It's like a Kafka movie book where you don't know what the charges are, but they're arresting you anyway, and you sit in jail in a floating box in your home while they remotely attack you. And they do it in a prejudicial way. They don't have courts. They have a court, apparently, a FISA court, that they get rulings on about us. Just kind of odd, because that's a foreign intelligence service list, not a domestic list, but apparently that's how they do it. So they have a kangaroo court, and why do they do this? I think it's power, control, and money. I think they do it because they can, and we have exotic technologies like this fourth industrial revolution technology of the V2K telepathy and zapping, the directed energy weapons and such, would have actually been around longer than the fourth industrial revolution, but they're coming to fruition now, and the brain invasive technologies are being talked about in the brain as the new war theater is being discussed now. So why do they do it? Do you know why? Well, I know why they do it to me is because the district attorney across the street that rented a house, who was a recovering alcoholic, put me on a list because I had a relapse in my home. And he called the sheriff and had a whole big scene happen above my roof with a helicopter. So why did they do that is my question. Why would the neighbor narc on someone? And the reason is because it's about power. He was coming back up. He was an alcoholic. He was an attorney again. He just got his bar back. So he's got his credentials, and the only job you can get as an attorney when you're starting over is at the district attorney's office, because that's who they hire. There's a bunch of shady, crappy attorneys for $29,000 a year. And he, Mr. Snotty Pants, and his wife, who's on pain pills, both are heavy-duty AA members, and were constantly reminding me how rejuvenating it is to go to an AA meeting. And they would go around to the different neighbors and harass them for drinking or what have you. So, they were, gung-ho and above the law. Why they did this? Because it made them feel better. Why did they do it? Because they probably got money, because they bought a house afterwards, a crappy house, because that's what they deserve. And the driveway was the garage was turned into a living room. There was tile on the floor of the garage, and the window to the garage was in the living room, which was part of the driveway, and it didn't make any sense. The house was horrible. But he had to have this house, and he probably did some type of book grant or something from the federal government to put me on a list, and he got his paycheck. And then he died. So why did he do this? Is because he wanted to control the neighborhood, and he was on his way back up. Why did they do it to you? Is because of any reasons, and probably no reason that you could think of, and probably not any reason at all. You don't have to have a reason to target somebody, but they usually do, and it's usually something feeble as a reason. It's not anything solid. It's usually suspicion. And they go around in the neighborhood, and what do? What? They go around the neighborhood, they badmouth you, they get the neighbors against you. They use technology against you on yourself and your neighbors. Directed energy weapons. They have V2K somehow through your DNA resonance, and they're talking to you about being a neighbor and what have you, and trying to get you to leave the neighborhood, most likely, and stuff like that. And what is the reason they do it? And we know why, but what is the reason? What? Nobody knows what. Nobody knows what it is they're doing. Nobody knows the technology. If you say you know the technology, you're a fool, because not even the most top experienced person in the TI community knows exactly how this works. My best guess is DNA resonance using EEG heterodyning through some sort of system that puts out a wave. It could be the electricity. It could be an antenna. My father had telepathy before cell phones. My grandmother had telepathy before radio or cell phones, so, it could be from any different type of technology. It doesn't have to be a modern technology. Anything can be weaponized these days. And with the digital technology, you can do quite a bit of damage with very little footprint. So the next in the why, what, and who is this that's doing it? Who is it that's doing this? Well, some people say it's a syndicate, which is part of the Illuminati and a group of people who work with the government, like the mafia, who get paid to do debauchery and things to the citizens. So there's one separation from the government so they don't get in trouble. And a lot of these people front as defense contractors or security contractors, and they're, of course, doing this to us. Who? Shriver Air Force Base, some people say it's coming from. Some people say it's coming from HARP. Some people say it's coming from the satellites. Some people say it's coming from the cell phone towers. Some people say it's coming from Gwen. Some people say it's coming from the electricity. I think it's probably exploiting any type of technology that transmits any type of signal. I'm quite sure of it. Wouldn't be any doubt in my mind, using existing infrastructure for this technology. So who is it? Is it the government? Is it your government doing this? Is it a foreign government doing this? Is it China, Russia? I mean, they say China, Russia, and the United States are leaders in this. Are they the ones culpable? So who's doing this to us? It's 6:09 p.m. Is it the NSA? Is it the CIA? I believe some of this is CIA-based. I believe some of this is MK Ultra 2.0. I don't believe MK Ultra disappeared. I think it just went into hiding and came back out again after 9/11. Under Project Paperclip, as Huggy Bear has graciously sent a note over to my chat room. And by the way, it's packed right now. There's a lot of people in the call. So how do you put someone in jail if they are who or if they're what? Who is this that we put in jail? How do you put someone in jail when they're using their own legal and military system and court system against you. How do you win in court when the odds are against you? How does Targeted Justice win their lawsuit? Well, let's hope they do, because it's the biggest deal we have going right now. But how do you win in court? Because, sometimes there's people in the system that don't want you to succeed. And that's part of the whole infrastructure of this national security apparatus that we have that's doing this as part of the contractors and outsourcing of the government. As far as the government itself doing it, I'm sure they are, but not that much, because they don't want to get caught. So you make sure that you have a third party do it. Anyway, it's 103 degrees in the RV, and I'm sweating. My name's DJ Chris. If you're on Twitter, Facebook, archive.org, or YouTube, like, subscribe, and make a comment below in the video, and I will read it and respond to you. It's a 4th of July weekend. People are barbecuing. I do Twitter too much, Huggy Bear, way too much for my own health. But I think I'm addicted to it. Yeah, I have an addiction to Twitter, which I have to cure by not being on it so much. So I just shut the computer off and put the little transistor radio on and get away from it, because it is addictive. It's like playing a slot machine. You keep seeing if you're getting likes, and you keep seeing if people acknowledge you, and all that stuff. And it's like Facebook. I just started going back on Facebook again after Twitter censored me and really upset me. And I'm not paying for their service anymore. So we have it. The who, what, why of the targeting. So that's an open topic message. That was brought to me by Scott B. in Alaska. He suggested that, so I thought I'd go with that. I think that's a good topic. Who, what, and why? So who is it? What is it, and why is it? And do you have any questions? Do you have any ideas who's doing it to you? I mean, I don't know who's doing it to me, but I know how it started, and that was with the crazy district attorney whose wife was on so many pain pills that she put her seatbelt on her car and burned her arm with the seatbelt. And I used to go get her off the floor in the bathroom, passed out with her pain pills. And then they moved away down the street, and I was saved. I couldn't get anything done around there. Can you imagine having your friends over and having him call asking what you're doing? He was like inspecting me for drugs and alcohol. It's like, who decided that? Hello, Tranquility. Why did he decide he was going to be the neighborhood chief? And that's power control. And then he got his money out of it. And at the very end, I was at his funeral at his house, and the only person that shows up was the district attorney, Kennedy. And I sat right next to him thinking to myself, you pig, what did you do to me? What did you do to me? You're in the same building as the sheriff. What did you do, Mr. Kennedy? I just sat there and stared at him. Nobody showed up to this guy's funeral because he was mean. Hardcore AA member. If you're not an AA, you're no good. No, he was hardcore. Next topic is the National Security Council, which is part of the War Production Board. I don't know why I wrote that. It's hotter than heck, and I'm not thinking, but I believe I was researching and came across that. and wondered if they're involved in this at all, because they are part of the war machine. And I was curious if you thought the National Security Council, the NSC, was involved, because we never talk about them. They're like a secret agency. Let's see what time it is. Oh, it's 6:15. Phew. I renewed my press pass for my United States Press Association membership, so I'm still a member of the press, and I can take your emails and stories and pass them on. I just renewed it, so I'm good for another year, and this allows me to get into places and ask questions, especially if you're at some type of get-together or something and you need credibility. It's for digital authors and people like that. It's not the big organization that people in the CNN use, but it's for digital authors. So I renewed that. Hey, Whitey. And next is planned obsolescence. We talked about planned obsolescence in the last call, about how washing machines and coffee makers and such don't seem to last very long anymore. And basically did some more research on planned obsolescence and found out that it includes brain implants. Some lady had seizures, and a company implanted a device into her head that stopped the seizures, but the company went out of business, so they're demanding to remove the implant from her. And if you don't know this or not, you know the Neuralink BCI and the copper wires they wire into your head, the 60 of them. Did you know that they get calcified and they get gunk on them, and those sensors in your brain give out in 5 years, and you have to have your BCI Neuralink implant reinstalled with new wires that don't get calcified? I am not kidding you. And then, of course, the planned obsolescence. If a company goes out of business and you have a brain implant, what do? Do you go back and have them take it out, or do you keep it? What happens if you have a breakdown of the hardware and you go to the medical place and they put you in a mental hospital for having a hardware failure? Imagine going to a medical facility with a Neuralink issue because they're not responding in email or support, and they tell you you have to go on medication and there's no such thing as a Neuralink, and you're crazy. You don't have that in your head. You're crazy. And they put you on medication for having a hardware failure with your Neuralink. And that is hot water I just drank. That's just like drinking tea. That's not refreshing. Ugh. Anyway, my air conditioning in the RV doesn't work at over 100 degrees because the RV power in the park goes low, and when it dips down, the compressor doesn't work, so I'm sweating like a pig. So planned obsolescence with brain chips, and then they calcify, needing replacement. I covered that. Now it's a TI book club. TI book club. The New Cold War, the U.S., Russia, and China from Kosovo to the Ukraine is a book I'm reading right now, which is about the current state of affairs in the Ukraine. And it's a book that was actually written in Spanish during the Kosovo War in 1999 and actually is redone and reproduced in English form and basically covers the whole Ukraine deal. And it's quite enthralling. It's a good book. I recommend it. It keeps you current. If people want to know about the Ukraine, you'll be able to answer them. So that's in the TI Book Club. And if you'd like to join the TI Book Club, you're more than welcome to. It's TI Book Club, or whoops, bookclubs.com/TI Book Club/join/ to join the book club. We have 57 members, and Tranquility is now the co-librarian. So we have 2 librarians to serve you, and someone recommended a book I bought, and I put it in the current reads. It was a reasonably priced book, and I saw it in the books we want to read. You can add books to that. So if you have a book you want me to buy and read and review and share, all you have to do is go join the book club and add it to the books we want to read section, and I go in there and look, and then I buy it and switch it over to current read. So the book club's the only one of its kind. I don't know anyone else has a book club. I mean, there aren't anybody else. Our book club started as an email thread in 2016, and then Amazon was going to give us a book club, but they didn't come through. So I found book clubs with a Z, and then they changed it to S, and I joined them. And I just upgraded to the premium program, so there's premium features on the account. I think you can send messages to each other, and you can add all sorts of stuff. Tranquility is co-librarian, and she can add information and write stuff on there. And if you haven't been to Tranquility's website, that is the world famous tievents.org, and she was gracious enough to purchase some books of mine for a giveaway on a contest she's doing. I really appreciate that. Any little bit helps, trust me, that really makes my day. I'm an author. I write books. I have some fictional books out now, and I have a book about my experience being a TI that's somewhat popular. But anyway, let's go to the next spot. Oh, yeah, possible sighting of the Time Lord. Got a direct message from Dr. Robert Duncan, and he is going to stop by the call sometime. He might be here now, and I will check in a little bit by switching the mode, and he can pipe up and say something if he wants. One last one before we go to open mic is True Stream Media about the guy that got locked out of his Amazon account. Did you see that? Because the guy that delivered some stuff thought he heard a racial remark. So they shut this guy off of his Amazon account. And all over false accusation. And so the True Stream Media is about that, and discussing how these lords of technology can become, judge and jury and lock us out of our accounts over something that we didn't do. So that's what that's about, and we're going to switch modes because it is hotter than heck, and I'm going to let you talk. Okay, it's open mic. If you want to talk, come on in. Open mic. And I'm done with my paperwork. Anybody want to chime in?
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can. Come on in.
All right, good. I'm on for only a minute because of my situation. Some people know who I am. I've been in this program for many years, and my background, I've got 100% squeaky clean background, but so there's no reason why I'm in the program, but I've been in it for years. And I'm just calling to say hi and to say that this morning, before dawn, way before dawn, I went through something that was the worst ever that I've ever experienced. It was the worst. And I'm just calling to say that I'm still alive. So that's about it for my message, and thank you for being there. And I'm not going to say who I am. I mean, this time, most people know who I am anyway, or some people do. So thank you for being there, Chris.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's 100 degrees in my RV. I'm sweating to the oldies.
Yeah, this thing that I went through was painful. And I hope never, other people have talked about stuff like this. I hope. Anyway, I'm just so, like most of you, so fed up with this program. But anyhow, and like I said before on other shows, I hope that on the 4th of July, people will take some time to think about what independence means to them when they're part of this program. So that's about it for me, and thank you so much. Take care.
You're welcome. Thank you for that comment. It's
Sure.
open mic. Anybody come on in? We're missing Ann in St. Louis.
Chris?
Yeah, come on in.
Yeah, I wanted to say something else that I've said on some of the other calls, just to remind people, because there are a few folks on these calls that have said that they're homeless, and I wanted to pass along this information to people. I believe, hang on. Anyway, it's JBJ, who has 3 restaurants that serve the homeless on the East Coast, and 2 in New Jersey, 1 in New York, and really wonderful. There's somebody. His contact info is on there, his phone number and all that stuff, on that website of his, and it's a wonderful program. People can go there and have a meal. If they cannot pay for it, they can wash dishes for an hour or whatever it is. People who can pay for a meal pay $20, which pays for their meal and somebody else's meal. And so yeah, this is John Bon Jovi, who's a musician, and it's really wonderful stuff. He's been doing this for a long time. His cafes to help the homeless. So that's all I wanted to put. Cause you mentioned, well, anyway, I don't want to put their names out there, but a few people have said on these calls that they're homeless. I just wanted to. I've talked about this a long time ago, like years ago, and I just wanted to remind people again that this is available. One person on his website said she went and volunteered for him and ended up getting a job there. And so she's gotten her housing taken care of and everything else. So
the homelessness issue is terrible, especially for targeted individuals. And I believe a lot of homeless people are targeted.
Yeah, it's really bad. I mean, all over, as you know. So that's really great that he's doing something like that. He's been doing it for years, And he's got a song that's a slow song. Otherwise, his other songs are really rock and roll kind of, heavy songs. One of them is a slow version, and the song is called "It's My Life," a 2020 version from his home. Very nice song, and I think it's a great song for the community as well. So, check out his restaurants on the East Coast. If I can find the website, I'll call you back.
That would be nice.
All right. Okay. Bye.
Because we have someone in one part of the country who's living in a hotel, and she needs food and doesn't have a refrigerator or a stove. So, stuff like this would help her and others. And I know many people who I don't discuss out of confidentiality who are homeless and targeted, living in shelters and such. So thank you for that. That's important.
Yeah. You're welcome. Bye.
Okay, it's open mic. This is DJ Chris. This is your trusty V2K call. I have V2K. I've had it for a while, since 2002. And some people have V2K here and some don't. But that's kind of what we are. We discover why we're getting it and try to figure out the reasons and how to make it go away. I see Gertrude. Oh, Gertrude. Yeah, I agree. What are you going to do? Open mic, come on in. Is that Kaitie? Kaitie, is that you? I see Kaitie, but I don't hear her. Isn't that Kaitie right to the left of me? Well, that's a good crowd. The 45 people are in the call. That's right up there with my mentors. Like Frank, I studied Frank's call and Frank, and he called himself Targeted Mass, and I called myself Targeted West. And I see Kaitie. Kaitie, are you on the microphone? Is that you? I see you waving, but I don't see a mouth. Hit that button.
Can you see me? Hello?
I do see you. Hello. Come on in, Kaitie.
First time that I've been able to watch you. Whenever I go into the conference call, it's always just a phone number on my, so I swapped the phone and I got through. So I got on my second phone.
Yeah, I'm right here on the camera. I'm here every time. I don't go anywhere. It's 100 degrees. It's 100 in my RV right now. I am sweating. My air conditioner won't keep up.
Oh, New Orleans is beyond awful. Beyond awful.
Is it a wild city this weekend?
Yeah, we had the Essence Fest. So it's been very, very crowded, and it's been wild, outrageous with the police and first responders. There was some kind of sting operation that came into town. There was every FBI agent, every secret agent. They said Kamala Harris was here, and I didn't buy it for a second. But there was a big drama a couple of days ago. And it was interesting because they had a group of agents sitting under a tent, and they had a computer, and they were watching every car go by. And it was interesting to see their computer because it wasn't like a TV. It was like they were watching other stuff. So I'm hoping they were watching and monitoring the 5G because it's so out of control.
Oh, that's cool. So we're doing a Kaitie's Corner right now. This is Kaitie's Corner live.
Hi. You know what? Since Derek never really picked me up, you and I should just do our own gig.
Hello. That was the plan originally. Yeah, I think we will. Just send me a video every week. I'll post it.
Okay. We'll just do something random. We'll get
I already have the graphics. Yeah, I have the graphics made up and everything. That little cute little graphic for you.
Okay. Well, Derek hasn't asked me again, so we'll make our own gig, and we'll get everybody that listens to see what they want to know about. Do they want to know about vitamins? They want to see the city. They want to do how the first responders act. Whatever the topic, we'll do something. We can do that.
There you go. I think that's a grand idea.
I think it's a great idea. So I can talk for all the Texans, as y'all know. I got to talk to Ella the past week, and she and I are thinking about becoming roommates in Florida so that we can get Dr. Hoffer to be our main doctor. And then, we're both trustworthy.
Well, that'll be interesting.
It will be interesting. So I need feedback, and, I don't, it's a way to get to Florida. I need a place to stay, and I need my stuff to be safe. That's what
she said she was selling her house and maybe buying a house that targeted individuals could live at.
Yeah. So, and then we're coming up with an idea for a business to help target, so we can generate income as a business, because we're both, very smart and both former journalists and very business-minded, and we're very passionate about helping the community and getting out there, and we're both very vocal. And, I get out and I meet and greet everybody, as you know. So I think we can come up with a great idea, a great company to help us survive and also pay it forward to targets. That's our goal. Now, easier said than done. Baby steps. You get the plan going and you attempt it. So to get to A to Z, it's going to take a few steps. We can't just do it instantly, but that's our goal. And I think that having someone, when you have more than one person by your side, you have the strength to fight a little bit and make things happen. So I love that idea.
Plus, you are friends with Ella, and then I can interview her.
Well, I think if you want to interview her, I'm sure she would love to give you an interview. She's very open.
I'm trying to get Laura to interview her. Laura would be good at that. They know each other.
Oh, well, yeah. I'm sure she would love to do that. I'm sure. So I also talked to Dr. Millicent Black yesterday, and she wants to move to Florida. So then we're thinking, boy, we could just make this a target power state and just make that state fold and make it a safe state. Just,
You'll have quite a collection. You'll have Dr. Black and Ella.
I know. That would be a good trio. They can't deny us. They can try. But,
I worked with Dr. Black back at the Techno Crime Fighters, and she was having trouble, so we all helped her out, and Karen and all that. They were trying to set Karen up, Karen Stewart. So anyway, yeah. Oh, I just want to make sure, is the Time Lord here, ladies and gentlemen? Looking for the Time Lord. The Time Lord, so Robert. That's Robert Duncan. That's his code word. Robert Duncan, are you here?
Is he usually on your chat, Chris?
He said he's going to drop by, yes.
Oh, okay. I've heard so much about Robert Duncan. I have never actually met him or had the opportunity to chat with him.
Yeah, he'll come on here. I think we got a caller. Come on in.
Chris, I got that website for you. Take me a second. It's jbjsoulkitchen.org.
jbjsoulkitchen.org. Okay, it's on the recording, so people will. Yeah, that's going on the recording on every station, so that'll get out.
SOUL. Yeah, SOUL, and mostly to feed the homeless, but it's for everybody, and it sounds really wonderful. So anyway, that's it. Okay, thanks.
Thank you for your input. So, Kaitie, what's going on?
I am in a burger restaurant I've never been in, and everybody seems so nice and friendly. So I thought this would be a good place to sit and it's quiet. It's off the beaten path. I've never been to it. And as I always tell everybody, learn to move around your city and go to places you normally don't go, because it breaks the technology that's on you, because your perks like to use a little triangle, circle. They like you to stay at home. They like you to go to the grocery store They want you to stay in their little area because that's where they're doing all their little clicks and everything within their little region. So when you go off, it reflects where they're going, and they don't have everything set up. So it will lower many times the targeting on you. My phone just went off. I don't know if y'all can still see me. So I'm in a burger place on St. Charles, which is close, which is a real pretty part. It's in the Garden District of New Orleans. So I moved across Canal Street over to a different area from where I usually am. The French Quarter, you might as well be sitting in a barbecue pit and just being shot with knives and darts and spears of fire 24/7 nonstop on you. At least here it's softened a little bit, but if the next time I come into this restaurant, they'll have the location reconfigured, so they'll hit me harder next time. Right now it's softened a little bit. So it's been very challenging this week. And I told y'all about my last experience with Dr. Hoffer when I got the goggles placed on. Did I tell
you haven't. Let's hear about that. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Okay. So my third trip to Dr. Hoffer was, well, the day before, which was supposed to be my second trip, I was supposed to get all the hearing checks for Havana syndrome. And they were going to do about 15 tests. The poor billing manager of Dr. Hoffer's office and I sat on the phone for 5 hours with Aetna Insurance. They fought us tooth, nail, and all the way through, and they were trying to prevent me from getting this test. And then they used this silly, lame excuse that my insurance is only good for Texas. So we came back and said, well, you didn't have any problems taking the insurance for the first appointment. So what is different now? So we both knew that it had to do with the Havana syndrome and the testing. They don't want that on record. So someone higher up is preventing that in Texas or New Orleans, and they're trying to keep it. So they kept us in the phone. My appointment was like at 1 o'clock. It's already after 5 o'clock. The doctor's office is closing, and I'm like, I've come all this way from New Orleans, and I said, the amount of money and time that's wasted to get here, not, for all the battles I have to go through just to, say it takes a normal 1.5, 2 hours on a plane, will take me 17, if that makes sense. And it didn't really, but I'm just kind of trying to paint a picture to how my life is. It's just not getting to A to Z. I have to go through, a curve and squares and circles to get just to where I need to get. So Dr. Hoffer came out, and I said, listen, Dr. Hoffer, I may not be here in 30 days. I said, with the way I'm being attacked, and my skull is getting crushed very badly, and my spine is getting crushed very badly. And I said, is there anything you can do while I'm here today? And he looked at me, and he looked at my face, and he saw all the signs of torture and radiation and mutilation. And he said, do you have $95? And I said, yes, I do. And he said, I need that so we can put that on the books that you came in and have a doctor's visit. And he says, let me look at your ears and see what I can do for right now to get you here. You've come all this way. And so he got me in the chair, and he started looking at my right ear. And then he looked at what was cut out and looked at from the previous appointment when I was there 2 weeks prior. And he started digging around. He was trying to pull out, I don't know if it's a microphone, a non-consensual implant, a metal ball, I don't know what it is. And he started digging. It was incredibly painful for him to try to get it out. He finally gave up. He said, I'm so worried I'm going to damage your ear. He said, when you come back, we're going to remove this. No ifs, ands, or buts. And he was horrified how badly my ears have been burned and cut up and mutilated. And so he says, can you be here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.? And I go, yes. He goes, we're going to put the goggles on you. And I said, okay. And I said, will that be my implants in my eyes? I said, my perps look through my eyes and everything is recorded. I said, I'm a walking, Google map. I can show everything to everything. They see every word. They see every. And he goes, oh, it gets much better than that. It shows so much more. And I said, great. And then I asked him, I said, do you have something that can show the burns under my skin? I said, I have rude words and symbols. And I said, they're burnt all the way to my bones, I'm sure of it. And he goes, I can't personally do that, but he says, I have the doctor that can do that. And he says, I will refer you. So I did the goggles, which is for the Havana testing. And they're this big, heavy headset. And they put it over your head, and it's a big square. It's like a virtual reality kind of set. And it's heavy. And the nurses or the doctors that saw me the following day were so sweet and nice. So they started it, and it's like a virtual reality software. And they're doing all these tests that took 30 to 45 minutes. And she started it, and then she stopped because something was going wrong with the software. And what she was seeing on her side didn't make a lot of sense to her. She says, I think it's your makeup. She says, can we remove that? I said, sure. So we took off all my makeup. What she was actually seeing with all the technology and everything going on in my eyes, she just didn't realize it at that time. So then they started doing all the tests again, and I couldn't see her because I had goggles covering my eyes, and I'm looking at this software, and I'm doing all these different tests. But you know how you can hear someone thinking, or someone going, oh, okay, or, confirming that they realized what happened? I heard that. And there was another doctor in there, and they were talking to each other. So they realized what was being messed up was I have so much technology going around my face and my eyes and my skull that they realized that it was very heavy technology. The software is very interesting. It does all kinds of tests. It does it goes back and forth, sideways, and it's truly the first time I've ever had an experience of like what virtual reality is. And they would move my eyes. They would ask me to see different sizes. It's very different from an eye test. Things would move, and I'd have to find things. And what they're doing is they're monitoring everything so they can see the technology and how it reacts when you move, if they're moving your eyes, how everything's moving inside. So they're looking through your whole skull. So the test should be coming back this week or next week at the latest. So I have to fight for insurance. And that's when I was on a podcast, and Ella was on there. And Ella said she needed a roommate, someone safe that, because her place gets broken into. And I'm like, well, every day my place is broken into. So I said, I would love to be a roommate. I need to get out to Florida because I need Dr. Hopper to be my primary doctor. And he will get me into all the other doctors. So it sounds like it's going to be a good situation for us, which I'm crossing my fingers it will work out. My big problem and challenge right now to get to Florida, as I don't know if I told you a couple shows ago, my car got vandalized, and they did a lot of damage. So I tried to go take my car into Volkswagen and also to a German auto repair shop. I can't see any of them till next week Friday. So we were hoping I would leave by July 4th to get to Florida. So now I have to come up with money for that. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'll do something. But if it can, it's probably going to be, I need to try to figure out how to raise $500 to get to Florida. So that's my creativity this week to think how I can think out of the box and earn some extra money in New Orleans if I can, so I can get to Florida, so I have a place to stay, and then I can get my insurance to be covered in Florida, so I can get to Dr. Hopper, so it can go into. Oh, hi, thank you so much. Is this all you ordered? Yeah, so that I can get my results into for Targeted Justice for Texas, so that I can get with Melanie and get my results in for Icator. And then I'm working with someone in the UK and get my stuff there because I'm already a witness in the UK, and then my results can go into the United Kingdom. So that's the goal, which will help all. So, yeah.
Very cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anyone have any questions for Kaitie? Any questions for Kaitie?
No, but I'm very excited for her. This is Laura.
Hi, Laura. I know
Hi,
that voice. How are you, honey?
I'm okay. I'm barely hanging in there, but that sounds exciting. That's awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
That'll
So
work out.
If anybody has any cool ideas on how I can get some money for, we're all creative. So if someone says you can do this, that, or let me know, because I need to get to Florida, because my goal is to get to Dr. Hopper so we can get this stuff in, because my results can help everybody. It's just it's a step, and that's important. So yeah, and then if you want to interview Ella, I'm sure she would love to be interviewed by you.
Yeah, we need to have Kaitie. We need to have Laura interview her.
Well,
okay,
yes.
I'll talk to her and ask.
Yeah, okay. I'll give her a call. I mean, I don't know if she has the same number. She does have my number, but I will get on that. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just not feeling very good. I've been in pain for a long time now, so I'm going to mute.
I have it all. They touched the base of my skull in the last 74 to 2 hours today. You know where the knots are?
Yeah.
Actually, you can feel the cracks on the skull.
Yeah,
at the base of the neck and at the base of my, where your neck and your spine over your back, you can feel it there. Yep.
I have a burn back there. Yeah, I've just been battling.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Guess what I found on my back? Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'll let you finish, and then I'll go back to finish your back.
No. Go ahead.
Okay, so the other day I was in the dressing. I went to Ross Dress for Less, and I had to get some clothes. They've stolen my clothes, as they always do. So, and I don't get to see my body, which they've, mutilated, and they've cut muscles, and they've torn the muscles off the bone, and, they fill me, as y'all know, I'm a big puffer fish, and they swell me. On my back, from my shoulders all the way down to my waist, y'all know that I have, like, the Roman numeral 10, a jack symbol, an X with balls on each of it, burned all over my body. And y'all can visually, the new one's right here that they've been cutting right here. That's the big one. And you can see the burns, and then you can feel the burns. If someone I trust, they can physically feel that it's under my skin. On my back, from my right shoulder down to my left hip, and from my left shoulder down to my right hip, they have burned a big X and then my muscles are indented with like round balls. I have not seen that because I don't get to see my back. So they've made this big jack symbol or a Roman numeral 10 symbol on my back. That's huge. Now what they're doing from the middle of my back down to my waist and to my lower spine, they're doing like a wave, like kind of like wings that look like they're starting to burn. It's like this. I don't know if y'all can see. It's kind of like wings. So they're burning an emblem of whatever logo that this group stands for on my body, so it can be seen on my entire back. That's what's happening right now, and it's being burned from, our burns come from underneath out. So it's not from the top down, like if you were to get a burn like in the oven or on the stove. It's from the inside out, it's showing. But they have cut my muscles to make round circles, like balls on a jack, or a Roman numeral X with balls on it. So whatever that logo is, it must be a gang symbol. I don't know if it's, I don't know what that symbol represents. I don't know how to look that up, and I'm not sure I want to look it up on my phone, but that's what's being burned on my back, and it's clear to the naked eye. I saw it in the mirror when I was in Ross Dress for Less in the dressing room, and I looked and I go, what is that on my back? And, and then all of a sudden everybody stopped, and then I don't know if it's my main handler. I have a couple. I have, as y'all know, I have Jeff Davis from WDAI, and I have Randy Webster, who's Dr. Millicent Black's main handler, as one of my main human traffickers. And I don't know if that's, or from Antifa, or the cartel. I don't know who's doing it, but there's a lot. It's a symbol, and it's scary that someone can burn a huge symbol covering your back and cutting the muscle in a round circle. So if y'all were to see me and someone took a picture of my back, you would see it. Is that shocking?
That is shocking.
Yeah, so I don't know who this group is, what that symbol means. So if anybody knows anything about numerology or gang symbols or whatever, or a design that's out there like that, please let me know so I can understand what that is. But they have branded me all over. My whole body's covered with the jack symbol, head to toe. You can see it all over me. You can see it in my clothes. The symbols are on my towels. They're on my handbag. Like you can, I can physically take photos.
Kaitie, can you draw out the symbol with your finger? Because everybody's curious.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like an X, and on each point a round ball. Like.
Oh, is that like two-ball cane? Is that a Freemasonry thing? What do you think that's?
I don't know. I have no idea. And then, so what's going on my back now? They're working on. It looks like wings.
They're saying it might be voodoo. Voodoo?
I don't know.
Oh, well, you're in New Orleans.
I am in New Orleans, but it started in Texas.
I'm sure they can do voodoo in Texas, too. You never know.
It can be from any country. As y'all know, I'm sold in over 20 countries. That it can be confirmed. But I didn't know. I knew that Antifa had direct energy weaponry and was using it on us, but I didn't know. If I'm tied to Dr. Millicent Black and she's got confirmation from Amy that Antifa is harming her, then the odds are, since we're on the same network channels, and they poor Millicent gets to hear Randy complain about me to her nonstop on his synthetic telepathy. He's always talking about me. So I don't know if that's an Antifa symbol. I don't know what it is. It's just some creepy symbol. Maybe I don't know. Cartel.
That is really odd. Well, anyway, the recording is getting ready to quit. If anybody was watching this on your favorite platform, Kaitie's Corner will be coming soon, so she'll present me with a video.
Well, we might have to change the name because that was from Derek, so we might have to come up with something else. But yeah, we'll figure out something.
Kaitie's Scene. How about Kaitie's Scene?
So we'll take a vote.
We'll come up with something. Yeah.
We'll come up with something cool. Yeah.
We'll think of something. So if you're watching this on BitChute, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or archive.org, Kaitie is with me, and she's a former CNN reporter, and she's working with doctors right now to get diagnosed for her Havana syndrome. So stay tuned for more about her. My name is DJ Chris. I appreciate you watching the video. We're here every Sunday at TargetedWest.com. You click on the show button, and you can join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we record the first hour, and then the second hour we don't record. So we'll go ahead and let this finish out. Thank you, Kaitie.
Okay, bye, guys. Love you.
Thank you, and we'll get together on your Kaitie project, and thank you for watching the video, and we'll be back next week, which is for a new show. I don't know what the topic is going to be, but we'll come up with one, I'm sure of it. And be sure to like, subscribe, and comment on the videos. It helps the algorithm and moves the videos up. We're getting a lot of activity on YouTube. A lot of people are joining up. Kaitie's going to have her hamburger now, which probably looks delicious. She's been staring at it, thinking, Can't eat it in front of the camera.
No, not very polite.
I was hoping you'd show us what it looked like.
Okay, there you go.
Well, there we
see?
go. Another Kaitie's reports. Okay, well, thank you for watching, and we're going to turn the recording off.